Vocaloid songs are typically innocent and fun experiences that everyone can enjoy, but one day, someone composed a song that made everyone angry. How did this even happen? Well, let's start where it all began. Meet Hiiragi. He's the composer of a few popular songs that put him in the spotlight, like the highly acclaimed Tetris. So, all eyes were set on what would come next from him. He would compose a collab song with Channel Cast Station, the animator behind Mesmerizer.
Damn, you're on everything!
The song was to be called Zaako, and on the night it was released, it blew up extremely fast. But Hiiragi never expected that it would soon backfire and jeopardize his career. Zaako follows the story of a young schoolgirl, voiced by Kayuki, singing about how you are a loser pervert who has the value of a small fish. Keep that line in mind for later. Kayuki then flaps her lips, texts on her phone, and dances around like an iPad kid without their Adderall until the song ends. It seemed like an innocent, simple song at first, but many people quickly noticed that Zaako had some questionable undertones. I remember the night Zaako came out. I was in my goon cave listening to the song on my phone, and I immediately saw a divided comment section. People were freaking out that Kayuki, a child-coded character, was singing about a quote-unquote fish. If you know what that means, well, you know. Was this song secretly a commission by P. Diddy? Short answer, no. Long answer, there is a lot of criticism behind Kayuki's usage that let Zaako become a huge misunderstanding between Japanese and Western culture. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, Kayuki. She's a vocal synth who's notable for being voiced and designed after a 9-year-old grade school child. Obviously, there are guidelines about how you should use her on her website, notably that you shouldn't use her for morally obscene songs. Whatever that means depends on where you come from, and in the case of Zaako, there is a big discrepancy between Japan and the Western world of certain definitions and values. Remember the line I told you to keep in mind? Well, let's talk about mezgaki. It's a media trope that's defined as a young-looking, slutty girl who teases a superior about something they lack. And it typically falls under the Japanese pornography definition.
Great omen, by the way!
Critics of Zaako point to the scenes with the fish as moments that are tiptoeing the lines of what's okay and what would put you on a list. When you hear a song about a grade school girl talking about your penis size, it sounds pretty frickin' weird. We in the English-speaking world see fish as a slang for penis. In Japan though, it's supposed to be a play on the song's title, Zaako, which means something like small fish, or in slang terms, weak and useless. Kayuki is calling you a Zaako, and considering all the juvenile elements of the animation, and the author's intent, the song was really commentating on the awkward experience of a first crush between two people of the same age at a grade school. It wasn't trying to be sexual, but the cultural disconnect didn't do it any favors. It's also worth mentioning that more explicit mezgaki songs were being released at the time, so I'd say people were justified in mistaking it for one in the first place. Mezgaki is a common media trope in the Japanese-speaking world for some stupid reason, but for this story, people were worried that creeps would get off to Kayuki teasing them due to her unmistakably grade school design. So, people tying Zaako to the weird stuff would cause some discussion. And that's not all.
Hentai.
Another problem comes with the word hentai. In the West, we obviously associate the word with pornography. But in Japan, it has a softer definition. It basically means you're calling someone a weirdo or a pervert. One of my artist friends pointed out that this word can be hard to translate between cultures, like in this one scene from Guilty Gear. Clearly, Zaako isn't talking about reading some degenerate My Hero Academia fandulgin, but is calling Bedman a weirdo in a teasing manner after deleting some data for some reason. I don't know, I haven't played Guilty Gear. I think the best way you can think about it is a couple of Genshin Impact nerds call you gay for sitting by yourself in class with an eat-bag full of VTuber merch. You know, poking fun at you. Kayuki calling you hentai thankfully doesn't have to do with the adult stuff in the song's lyrical context, but it still puts off people because, well, 9-year-old girl. The Japanese media tends to romanticize the school years, and it's odd because us Westerners, we tend to really hate school, but that's basically the Zaako drama in a nutshell. All of this discussion came from misunderstandings between oddly specific and strange cultural differences between the West and Japan. Beyond this point, the drama basically becomes a pissing match on Twitter. I don't want to deep dive into it because it'll put me on life support again, and I don't have good health insurance, so I'll just give you my thoughts on the Zaako debate instead. Was Zaako problematic? Yeah, but not for what you think. The real question I think people should have been asking was, why did they choose Kayuki? Well, the animator, Channel, made a tweet talking about the duo's creation of Zaako. They never intended it to be a Mesgaki song. They only used Kayuki due to her voice being well suited for the song in their ears. It was supposed to be commentating on a grade school student's first love encounter, but it came off as pretty vague, and Channel's animation style tends to be provocative. That could have been taken the wrong way, since, well, you know. And it doesn't help that Channel has a horny side on Twitter, so because of this, they would later announce that they would remake the song without the Kayuki stuff, and on March 10th, 2025, the new version released starring Akita Neru of all people. Yeah, the Banana Miku herself, alongside cameos by Teto Kasane and Hatsune Miku. I did a poll on my community tab a while ago. A huge majority voted in favor of the Neru version, and I have to agree with them, mainly because I think the song fits Neru's character more than Kayuki. Plus, in the Suwawako house, we love Neru. Though I will admit that, despite everything, the song's pretty average. Hiiragi should be thankful that this drama happened, because the song is already pretty generic.
It already left my mind.
When the new version released, I genuinely didn't care at that point, because the discourse sucked out all the fun of an already mediocre song. If you liked the OG version, you were a pedophile, lolicon, pervert. But if you hated it, you were a tourist who got scared by a drawing of a young person singing about a fish. I think, actually, normal people can agree that Hiiragi and Channel were tone deaf and made the song too open to interpretation in the wrong ways. Moral of the story? Fuck Twitter users. I think the duo made the right choice in remaking the song. Besides, the Triple Baka game's back together.